blood sugar, and there's all kinds of other things about donuts too that we may get into before it's over. But here's what we're going to try to look at partially tonight. The exercise insulin duo for blood glucose control. And you know, if you've been coming, you've heard me talk about exercise. Well, I'm not through talking about exercise yet. But then, after we get through with the exercise, we're going to go into delicious foods that makes you thin. Now, don't you like that idea? Eat and become thin. I like that. Eat more and become thin. I even like that better. And then finally, foods for blood glucose control. So first of all, we're going to start with this. We're going to break all this down into about 5 different sections. I think it's 5. No, it's 3. Planning, moving and strength, and then protein. There we begin to get into food, okay? So the first place we're going to start is planning. Now, we see that here are some different factors in order to have good health with diabetes, and really good health, period. Walk, lift weights, eat fruits and vegetables, count your carbohydrates, check your blood glucose, drink plenty of water, get a good night's sleep, and be thankful. And you tell that to someone, you've got to be kidding. All of that, yeah. But here's the wisdom ideas behind this from God. They are life to those who find them and health to one's whole body. What are? Well, these principles, these proverbs, they are for the health of one's whole body. And here's an example. Here's one of them. Make plans by seeking advice. If you wage war, obtain guidance. Well, now when you see that, make plans by seeking advice. Well, I'm going to be looking at different sources, including these proverbs and other ideas for making plans for health, because we are waging war against elevated blood sugars or diabetes or other health factors. We are waging war against it. And so planning is very important. And you can see, have you ever locked your door, left your key in it? I've done exactly like that. Except I'm looking at that picture more closely. I wasn't in Great Britain when I did it. Do you see that the driver's steering wheel's on the wrong side? That's what it looks like to me. But I guess you could be taking the picture. No. Am I right? Is that on the wrong side?
It's on the wrong side.
Yeah, okay. I was right about that. Well, here's an example. The desire to go back and do things differently happens in many situations. For example, have you ever locked your car? We just looked at that. And then you see your keys in there. Even worse, what if you got locked into an ATM service room? I read this news headline. Texas police make odd withdrawal from ATM. A man who was trapped inside. Isn't that something? And so this guy, he's a contractor. He goes in, he's doing some service. And at this unit, it was connected to the bank. And there was actually a room where you could go in there and work on it. And he happened to go in there and work on it and left his cell phone in his truck and the key to that room. He had no way of getting out. The door was shut, it was locked. He had no way of getting out. How is he going to get out of this predicament? Well, you can see what he did. People were driving up, making deposits, or they're making withdrawals, and they're getting the receipt, and he's sticking little notes out there saying he's trapped in there. Call my boss's number, and the number was given. And so the police heard about this because one person took it seriously. Everyone else was, this is a joke. And everyone else was not taking it seriously except this one woman. And she called the police, and of course when they first got there, they didn't take it serious either. And so here they are, after this man has been in there for 2 hours, they come up, they bang on it, and they can hear someone in there, sure enough. And so we had a once-in-a-lifetime situation that you'll probably never see or hear about again. And here's how it was put by this policeman.
And sure enough, convinced this guy needs help, they kicked in the door and withdrew him from the ATM room.
So everybody's okay, but you'll never see this again in your life. That somebody stuck in the ATM machine. It was just crazy.
No, you'll never see that again. Well, what does all this have to do with anything? Well, planning is so important. I don't know if you would ever have any interest in a banquet meal where there's all kinds of food and all that. We used to have those. I used to go to them. And can you imagine going and you're sitting down there and you haven't checked your blood sugar since after lunch, and it's supper time, this is the big banquet time, and you sit down there and you're visiting with someone, and then you remember, I didn't bring my insulin with me, and I didn't bring my glucose meter with me. And so he's sitting there, and what's he going to do? You know, I don't really think that was good planning, but when you think about it, what could he do? Well, he could get up and leave. He could go back home and get what he needs if it's not too far away and then come back. What else could he do? Well, here's an idea of what he could do is be very selective about what he eats. Eat the kind of foods that aren't going to drive up your blood sugar. And so in other words, what he could do is have himself a plate of green beans and maybe some turkey. Or if there's chicken, chicken. I'm just talking about the chicken, not the skin, okay? And he could make a meal out of that, which would be very good, by the way. And then he could get back home, he could check his blood sugar, and if he's still elevated because he hadn't checked himself since afternoon, then he could take a correction dose of insulin. And so this planning idea is very, very important. And I don't even know what that is over there. Is that green beans and...
That's Brussels sprouts.
Huh?
No?
I don't think that's Brussels sprouts.
It looks like some kind of green or something.
It's some sort of vegetable,
Collard
isn't it?
greens.
Olive greens, mustard seeds, something. That looks like spinach.
I want to say vegetable green beans mixed with squash, yellow squash. Who knows? But anyway, I'm thinking it's vegetables and you can make a dish out of that. Now,
Looks like broccoli.
planning is important, including getting the right kind of exercise, okay? Now, I was talking to someone not too long ago, and he told me, he came right out and said, I don't like to exercise. I don't like to walk. Well, why don't we make exercise enjoyable? And I saw this recently about a certain kind of yoga. What the kind of yoga do you think it is? Goat yoga. There you go. I mean, it looks like fun to me. Let them massage your back, jump on it, and all that. Let's make exercise fun, why don't we? And that just looks like it to me. So a good person gives life to others. The wise person teaches others how to live. How to live is eat properly, get the right amount of exercise, sleep, all those kind of things. And also, go to God's wisdom. Pray to God, too. Go to the ant, you sluggard, consider its ways to be wise. It has no commander, no overseer, or ruler, yet it stores its provisions in summer and gathers its food at harvest. Here we have the ants. And I want you to notice what they're doing. Could you say they are lifting weights? Yeah. Are they walking? Yeah, they're moving. Are they eating nourishing food for them? Yes. And they are taking back food. Part of that carrying was taking back for others at the colony. They're storing for the future. And so when Solomon writes, go to the ant, consider its ways and be wise, man, there's a lot of wisdom in that, isn't there? What are the characteristics of ants? Well, I see initiative, persistence, industrious, moving, lifting, storing. And so we need to plan to get the right kind of exercise and to do it throughout the day, okay? And here we come to this idea of moving and building strength.